You get what you expect. Say it with me. You get what you expect. You've heard it over and over again. You get what you expect. What are you expecting? What are you expecting, rich friends? Let me tell you, I don't know what's going on over in Instagram land, but here we go. You get what you expect. Say it with me, my rich friends. It's a great day to be rich. Say it again. It's a great day to be rich. Realize I create happiness. Say it one more time to lock it in. It's a great day to be rich. Somebody say, oh, you're giving Beyonce vibes up in there. Yes, girlfriend. I'll explain to you all about the camera and the lights another time. But nonetheless, let me tell you, we get what we expect. You hear that all the time, right? You get what you expect. However, you don't know what you expect. And sometimes a lot of people just don't know what they're expecting. They're just getting things and they are not aware of what they're expecting in their experience. All right, we're going to have to turn that fan down. Don't know what's happening. Okay. But nonetheless, our friends over on Instagram, you'll catch up in a minute. You catch us on the replay if you missed it out on the first part. It's doing something different. And I just really want to thank each of you for being here. We are here enjoying another year, 2024. This is the year to expect more. Say it with me, 2024. This is the year I expect more. 2024. This is the year I expect more. I want you to expect more because you know what? If you get what you expect. Back to the same old saying how we started out. You get what you expect. Whatever it is you're expecting, that's what you're going to get. So we need to set some expectations. Set some expectations for ourselves. And I want to encourage you to set some rich expectations. Why not? If you're going to set expectations, why not set some rich ones? So today we're going to talk about that a little bit because I had the epiphany and I had the experience, I said 2024 is the year to expect more, right? And we set out and we talked about expecting more by way of first starting with ourselves. We're going to start with self first, right? We're going to start with ourselves. And then we're also going to expect more from our relationships, our friendships, our significant other relationships, our spouses. We're going to expect more from those. And we're going to also expect more from our business, our jobs, our careers. We're going to expect more, right? This is 2024. We expect more. Absolutely. Go ahead and hit that share button, hit the invite, because we're going to go deep and dive in a little bit for today. And we're going to have an opportunity to let you know about some upcoming events, especially those of you that are on varying platforms. You can see it right before you that you can meet me in Miami. All right. Meet me in Miami. Yes, that's one of the events that's coming up. And, we're going to have a great time there. We're going to have a great time there. My friends over on Instagram, you're just going to have to catch it on the replay because I can't touch the tech stuff right now. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get all into it. 2024, we expect more, right? 2024, we expect more. And how do we get that more? How do we get that more? Some of you say, well, Viv, how do I get the more? How do I get the more in my experience? Because a lot of times we are not sure of how to get more because we haven't set foundations in place. And one of the things I realized for myself was I got just about what I expected and a little bit less last year. Anybody in that room? Yeah. Anybody else in that room? I know I can speak for myself. I did. And one of the things I got was because one of the things I got last year, I didn't expect it, but I got it. Or maybe I did vibrationally expect it, but I got it nonetheless. I got a vacation, and it was a paid vacation. All expenses paid by c'est moi. Okay, vacation to the local hospital. Yes, I did. In 2023, I did because I had set some things in place unknowingly or knowingly, not so much paying attention to it. That's one of the things there. We get things in our experience a lot of times because we're not paying attention to what we're drawing into our experience. And so I was drawing some things into my experience, some expectations I had from other people. And however, but I was not communicating those expectations. Anybody in the room? Anybody in the room? Say that's me. Put an M in the chat if that's me. Go ahead. Put an M in the chat if that's you. Yes, I was actually had some expectations from other people, but had not communicated those expectations and internally was holding them in. Internally holding it in. That's right. I'm internally holding it in. At the same time, my body is blocking the energy flow because remember, our bodies flow, ebb and flow. We have to have that flow. That's fluidity. That keeps us alive. If it's not flowing, it's stagnant, it's dead. Okay. If it's not flowing, it's stagnant, it's dead. And stagnation has a stench to it, which is normally common with death. So we're not going to have any of that. But my body was tensing up and it was becoming very stressed, but I was not actually honoring that. And because I wasn't honoring it, my body continued to react more and more and get tighter and stiffer and to the cellular level in some ways. It happens that way, rich friends. You ain't got to try it. Just take my word for it, okay? Don't try it. So I was holding these things in. And as I held them in, ultimately my body got to a point where it said, girlfriend, I'm done. I got to take a break. I can't do this no more. I'm out. You need some medical attention. Bam. So I ended up spending some time in the hospital. And while I was there, I had the opportunity to ask some questions to myself. Why am I here? Why am I here? What caused me to get here? How did I get here? And that's a part of, the process. When you're looking and you wanting to expand and have some rich expectations and some things, you need to ask some questions. Ask yourself some questions. Where you are today, why am I here? And maybe even let's go with a better question. Let's go with a better question. One is why you're here. That's always going to be that first question we ask. Why are we here? Now we want to know, how do we get the heck out of here? Okay. I know for me, that was my question. That was my question there as I lied in the hospital bed and on the gurney asking, how do I get the heck out of here? How do I get out of here? So, but I had these expectations that I had not communicated. And so it came to me, you were feeling this way towards this person and you did not communicate this. And when they did not fulfill those desires, then it created a block, a flow in the flow of energy. Ah, yes, that's how it happens. And then another situation happened and it added another block. Yes. And another thing happened and you didn't communicate and it added another block. Who's that? Who's in the room? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that person? Yes, we're there. It's okay because there's for my Christian friends, Bible people, this here. He says you overcome by the word of your testimony. So, all right, don't be ashamed of where you've been and what you're experiencing. And that is so liberating. I tell you, my rich friend, once I got that, woo, life is great. Life is absolutely great on the other side of that. But nonetheless, it came to me. I was there because I had not set proper expectations and I had not communicated my expectations. But that's not going to happen to you. Excuse me. Life happens over here. That's not going to happen to you, my rich friend. No. This is a new day, a new opportunity to expect more, to experience more in 2024. And this is how we're going to get it done. So recently, I had a situation came up just this week, an opportunity to test this, an opportunity to have a testimony of it. Okay. It came up. One of my mentors responded to a text that I sent and a message that I had sent out. And the response came back, wasn't the response that I was expecting. I didn't even have an expectation of a response. I did have an expectation. That's true. I did. I had an expectation, but it wasn't the response that I expected. And so I gave opportunity to myself to look at it twice, like, oh, that's different. That's another way. That's a different way, right? So I had the opportunity to realize that, you know what? There is another way I can approach this, independent of what the response was. All right. This is where we get into become rich here. We're going to realize, we're going to hit the R because we realize, as rich friends, we realize things. I realized that it wasn't the expected response. And rather than me taking an approach that where I would just suck it up and deal with it, or I would just, get defensive, or say something out of the pocket, as they say. I had an opportunity and I chose the opportunity. It was after I realized this was an opportunity, I leaned into it. I leaned into it, meaning we get the opportunity to lean into those situations and those things that come into our experience. Many of them we do create. We do. We just have other people to facilitate, but we create them. So I had the opportunity. I chose to lean into it. I realized what was happening. So I leaned into that. And in leaning into it, I observed, I got to see what was going on. Is this a pattern? Is there certain things that I need to look at differently when myself? I told you when we're talking about expectations, we expecting more. It starts with ourselves. Expect more from yourself. So leaning into that, I was able to observe there is a pattern here. There is something here that is an opportunity to grow from. An opportunity to expand. And that's what we do over here. We expand our minds and align with our heart, so that we can live richer with ease, especially as we're building wealth through business. So I had an opportunity to expand. And I took that opportunity to expand and looked at it in different areas of my life. How was this showing up? How was this showing up? How was I showing up? Come on, rich friends. It's time for you to look at yourself, look at the woman in the mirror, look at the man in the mirror right now, and say, how am I showing up? If I'm expecting more from other people, I got to be more. I got to more because guess what? They're going to reflect back to me. They're going to reflect back to me. So therefore, I need to raise my game up and expect more so I can experience more. That's how it happens. You cannot shrink back enough to be rich. I'm going to tell you this right now. You cannot shrink back, cut back to be rich. They just don't go together. It just doesn't go together, rich friends. Trust and believe me. You don't have to try it out yourself. Your girl has done it for you, okay? You cannot cut back enough to be rich. You cannot shrink back in personality and strength to be rich. Realizing I create happiness. It doesn't work together like that. So in this process of expecting more, I looked into myself and saw some areas and saw a pattern that was happening and made a decision. The next part is, I am the I part on the rich. Hit the I, okay? Write down the I. I am. So I had to look and say, hey, you know what? I am. I am. And whatever we add after that, you know what happens, right, rich friends? What happens after we say I am? What is happening in our experience? Many times we are loosely saying things, about ourselves and about situations that we prefer not to experience, but we're saying them loosely and we're actually bringing those things into our experience, which is an expectation. Small, but it's an expectation and it is delivering. All right. So I realized, you know what? I get to create this. I am. And I filled in the blank and changed the pattern right there after making a decision. I made a decision. I realized what was happening. I made a decision. I made a decision to create a new experience right then and there in that moment. I'm not asking you guys to go digging up in the past and trying to, dig out all the skeletons of 50 and 70 years of experiences of things that were, not the way you expect them to be. You ain't got to dig them up. They'll come up little by little. And as they come up, you have the opportunity to make a new decision. That's right. You have an opportunity to make a new decision as they come up. Okay? As they come up. So then I get to create happiness on this. Because rich is realize I create happiness. And trust and believe me, every time I write my name, I get convicted of it. Am I creating happiness? Vivian Rich. Are you creating happiness? Yes, I am. So I get a reminder constantly for myself. So I had to look at the situation and gave an opportunity to say, I am this, which put in motion a new creation. Put in motion a new state of being. Put in motion a new way of being. Put in motion more abundance. Put in motion higher expectations of myself and others. It put in motion all those things. And within a short period of time, I'm telling you, a short period of time, I started to see the manifestations. Manifestations. I know you guys are like, whoa, manifestations. Yes, everybody wants the manifestations. We manifest every day. We manifest all day, every day. Just acknowledge it for what it is. Truth be told, we are powerful manifestors. That's what we're here for. We live in the world of manifestations. We have ideas, thoughts become things. This whole concept of being able to live stream and to do this, come to you and talk with you from my laptop to your electronic device. It was a thought. Someone had that thought. And with that thought, they added more thoughts to it. And within time, it became a reality, AKA a manifestation. But it was a manifestation when the thought came. Okay, rich friends, I want to encourage you, don't discount your thoughts. Those are manifestations. You have thoughts of being wealthy. You have thoughts of being healthy. You have thoughts of running a marathon. You have thoughts of doing 75 hard, as some of you are doing, I know. You have thoughts of actually going, meeting me in Miami for brunch. Okay. Some of you, you have those thoughts, they become actions. You had the thought to even turn on your device today. Thought precedes manifestation. Okay. Thought and manifestation could go hand in hand. The thought is a manifestation, it's bringing it forward for you. So please do not discount your thoughts, but be wise in choosing your thoughts. Be wise in choosing your thoughts. All right. So in doing so today with that and playing with this here this week with this, with expecting more of myself and expecting being called out on something, an opportunity to expand. Yes, it happens that way. I was able to see the manifestation and see that, oh my gosh, this is great, as opposed to getting in my feelings about, in another way, to see this is great. And then as seeing that, things started to manifest and happen and move better in a better direction for myself and for everyone involved, because it was an opportunity to set a higher expectation of myself, to realize I create happiness, to set rich expectations. And rich friends, I invite you to do that as well, because sometimes, inevitably, we're going to have conflict. I'm just going to tell you this, it's inevitable. There's going to be conflict constantly at some point in our life. Excuse me, not constantly. There's going to be conflict in our life. And lean into it, my rich friend. I invite you to lean into it, because when you lean into it, it's an opportunity for you to expand. It's an opportunity for the situation to become more manageable. It's an opportunity for everyone else to expand as well. So when you set your expectations, be sure to set expectations with yourself, and that includes integrity. That's the foundation. We talked about that earlier this week. Integrity being the foundation of setting those expectations. So I was able to go through that process, and I invite you to go through the rich, where you're realizing what's going on, and you're going to decide, make a decision. What do you want to create? And then you're going to move in there and become and create that happiness, because you've made that decision. The happiness is going to follow because you've moved in the direction of setting some expectations for your life. So I want you to trends not to fall off the wagon. We're early in the year. And I know they say typically by February, most people have abandoned their resolutions. Well, here's my invite to you. Make a decision to be rich. Make a decision to be rich. Realize I create happiness. Do this throughout the day, every day, and you won't fall off the bandwagon. You won't fall off. You won't fall off. Set those expectations for yourself to be rich, not only in theory, but also in money, if you can do it. In theory, you can definitely do it in money. Yes, you can. If you can do it in your mind, you can do it. You can have it in your hand. If you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. That's how it goes. If you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. And we continue to talk about a lot of these things here and explore how to expand ourselves as as a person first and foremost, and as a leader of a business. We're going to continue to dive deep into these here similar conversations while we're having brunch in Miami, and it's going to be absolutely fascinating because this here new spot that is in Miami. It's an opportunity to actually go aboard an airplane, and have brunch. Cool, isn't that amazing? It's like right in the middle of the business district, and there's this airplane just sitting there, and you can actually have coffee and you can have brunch there. We're doing this. We're doing this. So get your ticket right now. I encourage you to go ahead and get your tickets because there are limited tickets available and limited seating for this event. So we're going to have brunch in Miami. So meet me in Miami and we can continue to have conversations of such. And for those of my rich friends that say, hey, you didn't say anything about the business in the world of taxes. Yes, we did. There's some taxes going on. It's tax season. We know that. We know that, and we will definitely be covering different things about taxes in Miami, but also in other live streams that we'll be talking about taxes. It is tax season, and those of you that want to go ahead and schedule appointments for taxes with our friends over at Fresh Start, just go ahead and you can just type, you can just put a T in the chat, and we'll get you taken care of. Even if you're on the replay, put T in the chat, And those of you that are really savvy, go ahead and just put tax.vivianrich.com. Tax.vivianrich.com. That's right. Tax.vivianrich.com. If you want to, so you can schedule your tax appointment. For those of you that want to get on our calendars over there at Fresh Start Wealth, you want to get on the calendar and get your taxes prepared, that's where you can go there. But for the sake of this conversation, for the most part, we are definitely expanding ourselves and expecting more so we can experience more here in 2024. And the only way we get to do that is by setting higher expectations. And rich friends, I encourage you today to get out and first set some high expectations for yourself and get out and do something where you can feel alive, where you can be yourself and you can expand. And you can have the opportunity to enrich someone else's life today by letting your light shine. I appreciate you for being here today. And remember, today is a great day to be rich. Realize I create happiness.